hit it with a smile that could bright up the entire planet Earth. Where, let me tell y'all, this young lady has the energy like I don't think I've anybody can match. Like yesterday, we talked about how James Muller, I'm sorry, James, I said it wrong again. James Muller, when he walks into a room and you're feeling down, he can brighten up the whole room. Let me tell you something. When Martha Kartaoui takes the mountain, she can brighten up the entire mountain. Martha is a very, very dear, close friend of mine. And once again, this is her third time back on the mountain. And if you're feeling down, and you're feeling the heaviness of the holiday, and you're ready to get your heart to rise again, this young lady is going to get your heart fired up and ready to rise. Martha, the summit is yours.
Thank you so much, David. You're always so kind with your introductions, and I love what we're talking about. I love talking about hope and rising again. If you know my story, you know that literally everything that I talk about is around hope, is about coming back to life, re-identifying with self, finding yourself once again after tragedy, after pain, after grief, after trauma. And so when David told us about what this summit was going to be about, I was so excited because I was like, I don't even have to prepare for this. I can just show up and talk because this is my jam. This is hope is where everything starts. You cannot rebuild anything without hope. You can't talk about rising again without finding that glimmer of hope, without finding that internal belief that I'm worthy of rising again, right? So I want to start out with the definition of hope before we can talk about rising again. So for me, the definition of hope is that internal belief of healing, restoration, the possibilities are still available, that I'm worthy of those things. I can do it. When we've been taught that only pain is what we have felt, right? Hope is that glimmer that we find that tells us healing is possible, restoration is possible, that a new beginning is possible, that rising again is possible, right? That's where hope starts in. It's that silent, quiet resilience that keeps us going, moving forward, that spiritual reassurance that lights up beyond the understanding, right? That starts to begin to heal the wounds, the emotional strength that we get that says, it's time to like strap our boots back on. It's time for us to get back up. It's time for us to move forward. We're not broken. We're not controlled. We're not silenced. Whatever it is that you have been through, right? That's what hope does. Hope tells us it's time to get back up. You got more in you. You got to go. You got to get back up. You got to start again. More people need you, right? People are depending on you. Your voice matters. So growing up in the religious cult that I did and experiencing the types of trauma that I did, really silenced me and controlled me for a very, very, very long time, decades. But when I found that glimmer of hope that said, I no longer ever need to live in this type of fear, I will no longer allow this to control my voice. I will no longer allow this to control or be the curse that controls my family or the generations to come from this family. All of that started with a glimmer of hope that said, Martha, you're more than your story. You're more than what you've been through. You're more than the things that have happened to you. It all started with hope. So when I talk about rising again, when I talk about finding that resilience within inside of myself that said, Martha, you can do this. You can get back up. You can heal through these things. It's a process. We don't snap our fingers and the magic genie shoots out of the bottle and says, what can I do for you today? Right? That's not the life, that's not the world that any of us live in. If it was, somebody please send me the genie, because I've been diligently working on this healing journey for the last 14 years. And it would have been really a lot easier if I could have snapped my fingers and gotten my genie. But it's a process. And during that process, you learn what you're capable of. You learn the strength that you didn't know you had. You learn that you have more resilience, more faith, more foundational hope than you thought possible. And that's what it takes to rise again. That's what it takes to be a warrior. That's what it takes to be a survivor. That's what it takes to be alive, right? That's what it takes to keep on living after tragedy, after grief, after loss, after any of those things. So, early last week, I had all of my hope questioned. I made myself sit with this and say, do I really believe in hope after what happened in my family last week? And I preach hope, y'all. I preach rising again. I preach that, we can't stop. The best is yet to come. These are the things that I live by. But last week, when our family experienced suicide for the first time, everything that I thought I knew about hope, I had to question. I had to sit with. I've known people that have had people that they know and loved experience suicide, but it's never been personal. I've had a lot of other tragedy in my life, but this was personal. This was family. And when that happened, I knew this summit was coming up. And I knew I would have to speak on this, because every day is a choice, y'all. Hope is a choice. Rising again is a choice. Somebody else made a choice that affects young children, 3 of them, affects the mother of his children, affects his family, affects my family. All choices. So what we did as a family was come together and say, how can we support her? How can we support the children? How can we bring hope during this holiday season, where right after Thanksgiving, this man takes his life and crushes the holidays for the rest of his children, his mother of his kids, our family, right? So we had to go to community. We had to say, we got to pull together here. And the outpouring of love is that glimmer of hope that this mother is sitting with this holiday season. The outpouring of not only financially, but spiritually, emotionally, physically, people showing up and saying, how can we help? How can we move your kids out of the home where they watched their father take his life? How can we help? That's hope. That's helping them rise again, right? This is the importance of what we do. This is how this woman will remember this experience, that she didn't have to go through it alone. Her children will grow up knowing they didn't have to go through this alone. They have a glimmer of hope. They'll never be able to undo what they had to see, but they will know that they're never alone. They will know that there's people that are praying for them. There's people that are supporting them. There's people that are loving them. And there's people that are showing up for them. So for this summit to have been so perfectly timed, and I remember the last summit, or 2 summits ago, when we had one in July, it happened on my sister's birthday, who is still in the cult and who I pray for every day, right? Like these summits, it's not a coincidence, right? That we get to show up in the vulnerability and the rawness that is life. I don't have to wear a mask and say, I got it all together, guys, because I don't. I work really hard at what I do, and I'm really proud of the progress that I've made, and I'm really proud of the woman that I have become and that I'm becoming. Y'all, but life's still life. I still have to take a deep breath sometimes and say, How do I come back from this? But we do, because that glimmer of hope. Hope is not naive. It's that warrior instinct that has kept me alive spiritually, emotionally, physically, psychologically, kept me alive. That's hope. Hope has become the oxygen that has kept my soul from collapsing over and over and over. And right now, hope is what's keeping this mama and her 3 children alive. Knowing that she has to make very difficult decisions right now. And that those children just need to know that they're okay after they've just watched this horrific thing happen. They need hope. They will rise again. We'll make sure to it. We will keep that community strong and ensure that they will rise again. So hope takes us from feeling good and understanding that it's okay to knowing that it is inevitable that we will survive, right? So often we put on the mask of like, and just power through it. I got this. I'm strong. I'm right. But that's a mask. Hope is that feeling that says anything is possible and I'm willing to surrender to whatever it is to make sure I can reclaim it, to ensure that I can become it, to ensure that I can rise again, right? Hope doesn't feel tangible, but it is. It's all that I've had to that I could grasp. I feel like hope and faith are so intertwined. Because without faith, I don't have hope. Without faith, I am alone. Hope and faith are so intersected for me because my hope comes from my relationship with God. My hope comes from knowing who I am in the eyes of God. My hope comes from understanding that the things that I went through aren't the things that I will live by that will define me. I'm defined by what I do with the things that happened to me, how I survived them, how I reclaimed self after them, and how I will now allow others to use the blueprint of how I healed to heal themselves, to find their own healing, to find their own hope, to help them rise again. Because for me, there's no point in healing if we don't evolve and then serve. So the last 14 years of my healing journey has been this evolution, have been this growth. And now I'm in this time of serving, this time of giving it away, this time of saying, this is your birthright. You must reclaim this if you want to continue to grow, if you want to re-identify with self. And I'm so grateful that I've gotten to do this in so many different ways of finding ways to serve others, because that's where my hope continues to come from. That's how I continue to rise, because I have purpose. I have a reason, right? My serving is now my reason to get up, to continue to find hope, to continue to heal, and to invite others to do that, to reclaim pieces of themselves that may have been lost to trauma, to grief, to pain, to their past, right? So my message for us today, and my message of what I had to experience, or our family is currently going through, is that sometimes hope's all we have. Sometimes literally hope is all we have. But when we stand on that firm foundation, we can rise again. Because rock bottom, y'all, is a firm foundation. I want to say that again. Rock bottom where this family is that just experienced this atrocity. That's their rock bottom, but it's a firm foundation. And they now have this beautiful community that has surrounded them and said, we will make sure that you rise. We will make sure that you're taken care of for the holidays. We will make sure that your children have the things that they need. So rock bottom is a firm foundation where hope can grow, where that seed of hope is planted. And the things that are going to come from this, just as I've seen in my life over and over and over, the things that should have broken me, the things that should have killed me, the things that should have kept me silent for the rest of my life are the things that God has used me to create impact, to create testimony, to create transition and transformation. Those things are the things that God has used for his glory in my own life. And those things that have grown me, right? So hope grows where the isolation ends. So this family, we can't allow them to isolate, regardless of how much they don't want the attention. They just want to draw back and they just want to shut the door and act like it doesn't happen. But we say, no, we have to keep showing up, because that's where the hope is going to grow, is when they don't isolate, when they allow their hearts to be opened again, right? We rise together. We rise in hope. Hope is what strengthens the community. Hope is what strengthens our heart. Hope is what strengthens after tragedy, after trauma, right? It's our spiritual fuel. It's our connection to source. So I just wanted to say thank you, David, for creating this amazing container once again. And I can't tell you how the divinity of the timing of these summits. I know it can't just be for me. I heard your speakers yesterday. I know that it's going to be the same thing that we hear today. There's always purpose in the timing when we follow in obedience to what the Spirit's calling us to do. So I just want to say thank you. I'm so proud of you, David, and I'm so honored to be part of yet another summit. Thank you for allowing me to share my heart. Thank you for allowing me to share this platform. I'm just so, so grateful. Thank you.
Well, hitting hard, Martha, my dear, beautiful, beautiful sister. First and foremost, so sorry for what your family is going through. Truly. Suicide is not an easy thing for the family that is left behind to go through. But with that being said, kudos to you and the family for rallying around the family that is going through this and not allowing them to retreat. I'm a suicide survivor, and I don't know what that would have done to my family if I succeeded. And I'm very proud of you and your family for what you're doing. The one question that I have before we open this up to our VIP room, what is your heart asking for in this moment and for the holiday season?
Kindness over judgment. It's so easy to judge the person that made this decision, but we don't know what demons he was fighting. And so during this holiday season and every day, I ask for kindness over judgment, because you don't know what somebody's fighting. They could have a mask on and you don't know. And so I really feel like that's my mission, and is to meet people where they're at and allow them the safety to take off the mask and show them kindness over judgment, and just show them that they're loved regardless of what they've done or where they're at, because we don't know what demons they're fighting. We don't know what they've been through. We don't know their story. So I would like to ask for kindness over judgment.
You got it. We can do that for you. I'm going to hand this over to our VIPs and our wonderful speakers. Does anybody have anything they'd like to pour into Martha? Go ahead, Deb.
As David knows, a dear friend of mine crossed a similar intersection with his 17-year-old son. And that was before Thanksgiving. And with the summit coming up, I couldn't. Martha, first of all, everything you said resonated. Thank you. Your bravery to talk about this still largely considered taboo topic. David, thank you for surviving.
Thank you.
We wouldn't be doing this if you were successful, whatever. And so I knew that I couldn't speak about this, even though David was working with me. Thank you, brother. And so your bravery in not only everything that you did to break away from a cult and your mission of hope, but to speak on this today. As David knows, I communicate often in prose, and this is apropos. There are no cards for suicide. It's short. There are no cards for suicide. For what could a card ever say about someone who took their own life? Despite what you may believe of what does or doesn't happen to one's eternal soul based upon your religious upbringing or lack thereof, the bottom line comes back to one simple thing, and that's the overwhelming waste of life. There are no cards for suicide, no flowery expressions of sympathy for the loss of this loved one, and why not? Isn't your loss even more pronounced because it was a suicide? The kind of thing that can leave you haunted with questions possibly for the rest of your life. Suicide evokes strong words, emotions, and questions such as, how much pain must you have been in? What were you thinking? Along with the eternal struggle of why. Leaving one with an intense feeling of anger, disbelief, betrayal, desertion, overwhelming sadness, and incredible sadness, especially over the sheer waste of the precious gift that is life. Our culture has done everything from making suicide illegal to a sin. Sometimes it's been romanticized in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet or by Don McLean's hauntingly beautiful song about Vincent van Gogh's famous suicide in Starry, Starry Night. At times, it's even glorified by those who believe that they will be revered for the sacrifice. In most instances, it simply is a means to an end. How much pain does one have to endure to take that drastic step, looking for peace of mind, body, soul, in order to achieve that end? No, there cannot be cards for suicide, for it isn't a natural way to die. Yet for your loved ones left behind, how do you say to them, I'm so sorry for your loss, if there are no cards to send? This was dedicated to my cousin, Kenny. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Martha, always here for you. Love you. Go ahead, Lauren.
Martha, I could listen to you speak all day long. The emotion that's just so raw. It's so beautiful. You express it in a way that I've never seen anyone else be able to express. So I am just so grateful that you're in my life. I'm so grateful that you're supporting this family, and your family, all of us are here to support you as well, because you're experiencing all of this too. So we love you and thank you. You know, I would be fine if you want to just hop on a call later and speak with me and make me cry, because you're really good at that.
Mhm.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Lauren. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Deb. You know, there are no coincidences, and to be able to be on the screen this morning and to receive that love, knowing what my family's going through. So I appreciate that very much. And I receive your words. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Martha. And I don't know. I don't know if I have a direct connection to the big guy upstairs. I just pick the dates, and it's not like I go with what's in my head or whatever. It comes directly from the heart, and it just lands with it. And I didn't even realize that you were going through this, or Deb was going through what she was going through. Um, I don't know. So, but it just seems like it always falls on an important, not cause, but life altering moments. And just know that with what Deb said, what Lauren said, you're not alone in this. And, you know, you and I don't talk enough. So I'm going to be now checking on you a little bit more than usual. So get ready for the brotherly messages that I'm very, very good at. And if I don't hear from you for a couple of days, then I'll start blowing up your DMs.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, David. And I'm so proud of you. Keep going. Thanks.
Absolutely. Love you, sis.